Hi there, how are you all doing? Welcome to Maths Bridge. Thanks for joining with us in exploring web development. Having a web development skill set means equipped with full stack skills. Full stack means which includes both front end and back end. Front end at client side, back end at server side. We are now exploring front end technology is known as HTML. Okay, currently we are looking at HTML tags. Let's get into today's session. We are very happy and most exciting to inform you all my happy learners and first time visitors. Our Mathspace knowledge corpus is get growing day by day. Please do visit us our YouTube channel Mathspace www.youtube.com at Mathspace. Sure thing is some takeaway as far as knowledge concern. Okay. Please do subscribe the channel and support us. Please drop a message. We'll get back. Here is our today's learning agenda. Whenever you talk about a table, one thing that it reminds us that table is consist of rows and columns, something like this. Do you see this one? This is a table, right? So table is basically used to organize the data in rows and columns. This is a general. So how it is different in HTML table? HTML table also does the same thing, but only thing, the table which we are going to create on a web page. That's why we require HTML tags for table creation, right? So why do you require a table? They provide a structured way to display the information like a schedules, comparison charts, statistics on a web page, right? So if you can think about, this is a table, this is the head of the table, these are the rows of the table within which I have data, right? That is how you can think about a table. Now let's look at what are the HTML tags that supports. Table is a tag which is basically defines a table. TR means table row, TD means table data, which is a cell. TH is like a header, table header. T head, table header group, because when you are creating table you can create a group, right? And T body means like a table body group. T foot is a footer group. We will see them in in demo. Caption, so we have to give a some title to the table, right? Let's say HTML table tags is a title for this table. How do you represent that part in HTML tags? Using caption. Base caption is for table caption, right? Like we can group them columns also. We have the few more things which we can talk about in demo. Here are the few examples illustrate the basic concept of table creation in HTML web page. So this is a table, right, within which we have a table rows. Within the row we have data and head section. When you open this through the web browser, this is how it appears. So this is like an head, it is a little bold, and these are actually a rows, but this is a head part, this is the data, these two are the data. You can say these are the rows, these are the columns, right? In order you to actually display something like this, all you needed is, this is how the syntax that you have to use to create a table. Same content here, but I displayed in instead of like 3 rows, now it made it like a 5 rows. The all changes that you made is like, now your rows will be increased from 3 to 5. Otherwise data representations still remain same. Next change I made in this example, like having a border for this table. So created a border using border attribute to the table tag. Got it? Otherwise, rest of the code remains same. Likewise, we can do few more things to the HTML table. Let's say, for instance, giving a caption to the table, student marks, let's say, right? So now it looks very good because it giving some kind of information, very informative by doing that. So, right? The second thing is like, the spanning part, like merging, you know, uh, the few of the cells, either rows or columns, can be merged using spanning part. How? So if you look at this way, can I combine together so that it appears neatly on the screen? So you can do this way. One more change that you see from here to here, there is a space given, right? The styling we added, but instead of like putting the name around it like a without space, we have created these cells. Now you are actually giving a little more space. Table size can be increased, the extended possible, like this, or the full page. you know these are the things that you see: the padding, spacing, spanning, border arrangement. you know uh, these things, you can just make a changes to the code to reflect whatever you would want to display on web page. Precisely for the tables is the context I'm discussing. We will see like a demo, so where we can cover various examples to illustrate the concept of how the table can be created or modified on a web page. Now let me show you the few examples which demonstrate the concept of how we're gonna create a table on web pages. Okay, if you can see my first example here in this screen, you could actually notice like some of the new tags, right? That's called a table tags. The keyword table, you can see here the table is a tag which we use for creating a table on a web page. Okay, so that's within the table, so you have to have like a rows and columns, right? So tr is a tag. T means a table, stands for table, r stands for row. Tr is a row. Within the row you have uh, some heading, some table, right? That is how I think you have to understand, right? Th stands for like a table head, tr stands for table row, td is stand for table data. Okay, one is a table data, one is a table row. Okay, and then this is a head and then this data. So if you can see here, so this is basically constructively construct the table on the web page. Let me run through this and then probably we will go back for the explanation. Here you go. So do you see now? So sounds like this is like a kind of a formation of the table. Okay, and then because we created like in a table, here you can see this is, I said, like a tr. Within the tr I have these elements, but we treat it as a head. Okay, and hence it comes like with a little bold, right? Subject 1 to subject 5 gets a little bold. Second row, this one, within the second row we say this is a data, td, right? So because of this data, what it says is like it is not a bold line, but still it is a row within which we have this data. Okay. Similarly, in the table row 3, you have again a data with the numbers. You have this one. So this is how you can construct a table on a web page. Okay, so now the question comes to me, array, why would actually I need to have like a table like this? This is more readable if I can turn it other side, like all subjects is like a one column, subject names are another column, marks is another column. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. Let me show you that too. Let's move on to the next example. Here you go. What we did here is like we flip the rows into columns into row, so that I can read it more clearly, right? So not much difference, but now you are saying like a subject 1 English, this marks obtained, subject 2 and then subject name and then marks, subject 3 subject name and marks, something like this. So I can flip this one. What the change I made it, now my row would be like this, 3 elements. So write 1 head and 2 data elements. Do you see this, the change that I made it between previous and now? Great. Though I said a table, it would look good for us if I can make it like all the table lines, right? Meaning a border of the table to distinguish an outer layer and inner layers. Get? So what you have to do, you have to add the border for that. So let me get you into the another example. See, everything is as is, but only change I made it, I have property, the attribute border equal to 1 is added to my table tag at the starting of the tag, right? That is what the change that I made it. By doing that, so what happens is that it creates a nicely the table. Do you see that now? So far we are covered table as a tag with border as an attribute, and tr table row, table head, table data. So how many rows you wanted, those many blocks that you can create like this is called table, right? This is done now. But see, you have to think of like what is the name that you are going to give it to the table, right? So how do you do that? You have to use captions for doing that. So okay, prior to before the table, what you have to do is like you have to declare one more line called using caption tag. Caption tag basically helps you to create a name for that particular table. So for all the tables, next above the table tag you should have the caption tag. That's the next thing that I have added. Let me run through this. Now you'll see what changes. Do you see? Great. So for the same table, so far we created a table and then we created a border. Now we are giving a caption to it. That's good actually, right? Now let me show you that another example for the same table. Okay, see what happens now. For this particular table we are introducing 3 more tags called t head, t body and t foot, right? So within the table, a top line we consider as a what, like head. The bottom things we should consider as a like body, correct? And the last one again you have to consider as a like a t foot. So let's show you like how this actually appears on the console. Let me run through it, then we will do it like an example. Now you see the previous one, we were saying like this data short up, right? But now what we did is like we are giving some headlines, serial number, subject name and marks is given. This is a table head section, right? These are all the elements which we so far discussed, right, in the previous examples, which basically tells me like this is a table body. This one is table footer, table foot. So the syntax here is like T head, table head, and these are all enclosed by T body. And now at the last line, what you said is like table foot. So there are 3 sections for any table that you can think of. This is how you have to construct it. It looks very good, right? Now we say that like we were also giving additional information stating that summing of all the marks giving like a total obtained consolidatedly you can show them like a total marks, summing of all individual marks, right? This is a good one. Now let's look at one more concept called spanning. What is mean by spanning? Spanning is used for merging the cells. Column span, row span, basically we use for merge the cells. For instance, I will take you to the foot section. In the foot section, all we are doing is that we just having a two things like a total and the summing value, right? Both things we are doing. What I would wanted to see here, I was trying to actually merge these two, right? Because there is no meaning of like separating them and make it like a total and then give this sum without disturbing my table. What I would using now, column span, because these two columns in this row basically in the footer section is what I am going to merge. So how to define for the TH, I will define column span equal to 2 as a total. Then I would do this by doing that. So this is how it appears. Do you see now? It makes more clear that total and then this value. This magic can be done using your a spanning part. Now what we are going to learn, how do you increase the table size? That's what we will see. So all changes I made it to, everything else is same as we discussing, but the only change that I made here is in the table starting tag I added a style equal to width 50%. Let me show you like how it actually shows on the screen. So now little bigger, previous is a bit smaller, now it is a little bigger. So I can make the changes to it. Let's say I put like 100%. If I put 100%, how it appears, you can see still the bigger one. Do you see how big it is? This is a big one. Alright, great. So I'll make it simple like 50% for now for this demonstration, but you can make a lot of changes like this, how you would want it to appear that on the web page. Now let's look at padding and spacing concept in the table. Okay, what is meant by padding in a table cell, right? So cell padding is the space between the cell edges and then cell content. By default padding is set to 0. So if you don't specify, it considered as a 0 padding. Okay, to add the padding on a table cell, what we have to do is like we have to use CSS padding property. That's all we have to make a note of it. Okay, what do you mean by that? So in the table what you are doing is like a TH and TD are using table head and table data, right? For these two, what we are applying is like padding is what we are applying in the style part. Padding 10 pixels. That means like all 4 sides, it gives a space like a 10 pixel information. right? Let me show you on the screen how it appears. This is what it is. If we can make it 0, let's say for instance, what we will see, if it is 0, then there is no space, right? So by having the space, it looks good. So what I'm going to do, I will put like a 10 pixel, then I reload it. This is what I would see on the screen. So this is what meaning of padding. So if you wanted to specify padding, different sizes for the different sides. Let's say like we have 4 sides for the cell, top, bottom, left and right. You can specify if you want to, something like this. Padding top, padding bottom, padding left, padding right. You can give a different spacing by doing that. So this is how you get this. Are you see the difference? Beautiful. I can show you quickly. Maybe the left side I will increase 120 pixel information. If it is 120 pixel, then obviously it is this far. Every cell you see left is actually giving more space. Got it? This is how you can manage the table using padding tag. Padding is a CSS property basically, right? You have to manage padding by using CSS padding property. Okay, now let's look at a spacing part, right? Spacing, cell spacing is the space between each cell. By default, space is set to 2 pixel. To change it, what we have to do, you have to use again CSS border spacing property. So that's what we are saying, border spacing 30 pixel. Let me just show you how it appears. Do you see now? This is what the change that you can think. So you can see you have a different options for doing that. So previously what happened, so it's very inner side cell borders are almost like aligned with outer side table. Now what you are doing is like you are actually managing that portion now. Okay, that was a change that you can see here by making this. If I take it like a 10, right? So we'll see how it appears on the console. Great. Do you want to actually reduce further? Yeah, let's reduce it. Let me say 5 pixel. Great. This is how you can manage your spacing part, right, using border spacing CSS spacing property style. Great. So far what we covered is that what are the tags that we will be using for the table creation, and then if you want you can make a changes, horizontal display and vertical display. We added a border here, we added a caption here using a caption tag, then you added like in a table sections, in this case head and body and then footer. That's what and then spanning part we did it because we merged the 2 columns for this row footer section. We can make like a changes for the table using style property, right? So you can use like a padding, right? So different option for the padding we can do. Common property we can set like this, otherwise we can specify top, bottom, left, right. We also learned about like giving a space using border spacing part. Alright, this is the kind of a concept for handling the table tags to create a table on a web page. Happy learning, good luck. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, click on bell icon and leave the comments. Happy learning. Thank you. Stay tuned to upcoming sessions.